Doug Ford promises more jobs for the North. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Ford made the trip to Thunder Bay today for a $17 million funding announcement. The money will be used to train 36,000 skilled trade workers in Northern Ontario. Vasilios Bellis was at the announcement. And Vasilios, what are some of the sectors that will benefit from this?
Riley, the funding's going towards what the province is calling in-demand jobs. That includes careers in the mining, construction, energy, and forestry sectors. During the event, Ford was also asked about the future of the Terrace Bay Mill. And while he didn't provide specifics, said he was committed to reopening it. A significant funding announcement from the Premier to support job training in the region.
Work together to unlock Northern Ontario's tremendous economic potential.
Premier Doug Ford was in Thunder Bay Friday, announcing nearly $17 million to train over 36,000 workers in the north. It'll focus on careers in the mining, construction, energy, and forestry sectors, which Ford called crucial to the development of the region.
It will help build the homes, schools, hospitals, highways, and other critical infrastructure that the region needs. And it will help attract new investments and spur economic growth here in Thunder Bay and throughout the north.
The majority of the funding, $10 million, will be going towards Agnico Eagle Mines Limited for training. The rest will be divided between 5 other organizations, including the Ironworkers Local 759, where the announcement was held. The funding there will build a new training center with welding facilities.
To laser target the workforce we need, we must partner with local employers, labor unions, First Nations, and nonprofits who know what is needed on the ground.
To better serve Northwest Ontario, 759 has a big vision to help meet our employer partners' needs for critical infrastructure and for the future of our industry. A training center is the key to this.
During the news conference, Ford was asked about the Terrace Bay Mill, which has been closed since January. Last month, union officials called for a sit-down meeting with the Premier on the situation, with no response yet. Ford insists he wants the mill open, but couldn't provide specific steps the government is taking.
Again, I wish I could dictate the market, right? The market is changing. We're going to come up with ideas with frontline workers, how we can potentially find a new buyer, save the mill, but that's our ultimate goal, to make sure they're taken care of.
Vasilios Bellis, TBT News.
Thunder Bay police are investigating an apparent stabbing overnight, which resulted in one person being sent to hospital. Officers were dispatched to the 400 block of Syndicate Avenue North at roughly 4 o'clock this morning. Police initially received reports of an assault, but arrived to find blood at the scene. An adult male was located with injuries consistent with the stabbing, and he was transported to hospital. The extent of his injuries is not known at this time. The investigation remains ongoing, and anyone with information is asked to contact City Police or Crime Stoppers. Thunder Bay Police are stepping up their efforts in the search for a man who's been missing for nearly 2 weeks, and they're asking for the public's help in trying to locate him. 42-year-old Richard Graham was last spotted on July 29th in the area of Cumberland Street North by Boulevard Lake Dam. He was reported missing to police on August 7th. Graham is described as about 5'6" in height with a slim build and a red beard. Police have now released images of his last known sighting, showing the clothing he was wearing at that time. Anyone with information is asked to contact City Police or Crime Stoppers. Thunder Bay City administrators have completed an analysis of the city's homeless encampment guidelines. City Council voted to make changes last month, and the study was to determine whether it's possible to increase the minimum distances. The staff recommendation being brought to Council is to not expand the current guidelines. The study results will be brought forward at Monday night's Council meeting. City staff were tasked on July 15th with looking at increasing the distance guidelines around trails, sidewalks, parking lots, and bridges from 5 meters to 10 meters. City policy and research analyst Riley Willinen says there are significant concerns and various impacts that might occur if these specific guidelines are expanded.
There would be significant impact on locations that are already compliant, that are occupied and unoccupied. You also may have one of two things happen. Folks may end up moving further into green open spaces, which are often found in residential areas, or they might move further into the bush or wooded areas, and that creates concerns for accessibility of emergency services. And then with both situations, possibilities, it pushes folks away from services and supports that they need to access.
Thunder Bay's new recycling bin program is continuing to experience growing pains, especially in multi-unit buildings. Property managers say it's about a 50-50 shot on whether buildings get enough coverage for recycling.
I think it's something that was imposed without really getting in touch with the people at the ground level who might have to deal with this kind of stuff.
John Janssen is the maintenance manager for Synergy Property Management Solutions. The company oversees many multi-unit properties in the city, including this condo on Brodie Street. The building has 60 units, but only 8 recycling bins, causing constant headaches for residents and building officials. Janssen adds there is barely enough room on the street to fit all of the bins, and there will be even less when the snowbanks arrive. GFL is trying to work with the management company to find solutions. According to Janssen, he says most of their residents want to return to the old blue bag system, but it would cost a lot more now.
Obviously, changing things, having an extra person like a contract cleaner handle the recycling puts an extra burden on them, so they in turn would charge more for their services, and then of course the corporations would then have to pay more to have their recycling taken care of for them, when it's supposed to be a free service, or it's included in the taxes that they pay.
GFL and Circular Materials have declined to participate in any interviews about the new recycling bin system. Greenstone OPP arrested a Thunder Bay man last weekend after his vehicle was clocked traveling 199 kilometers an hour. Police were responding to a traffic complaint on Highway 11 near Jellicoe on Saturday afternoon regarding a vehicle speeding well over the limit. The 38-year-old driver was determined to be impaired by both drugs and alcohol. He was arrested on a long list of charges and later released. His next court appearance is in Geraldton on September 19th. The Northwestern Ontario Aviation Heritage Centre has been forced to cancel the Wings of Time event scheduled for this weekend. Organizers are very disappointed it has come to this, but are hopeful they'll be able to reschedule the event next summer. The Wings of Time homecoming of the historic Harvard airplanes was originally scheduled for this Saturday and Sunday at the local airport, with next weekend as a rain date. The 4 North American Harvards were all built in Fort William in the 1950s and were going to be here for the community to tour and ride. But bad weather in southern Ontario this week, combined with scheduling issues for the Harvards next weekend, forced organizers to cancel the event. They're hoping people will visit their local heritage center instead.
We are heartbroken. You're more than welcome to come into the Aviation Center. People don't really know a lot about us, but it is like a little mini museum. And when people come in, they are blown away by all the artifacts and stories and what you can do there. We even have a state-of-the-art flight simulator, so they can come in and pretend to fly and celebrate our local aviation history. That's our mandate, is all the local bush flying, all the different people that have made Northwestern Ontario quite an aviation hub.
Lyson says they plan to reschedule the Harvard's homecoming event for next summer and are hoping to have 4 of the North American planes in attendance. The 4th annual Northshore Dog Club show is back at Chippewa Park this weekend, featuring a number of fun events for the canines. There are 5 championship all-breed dog shows, with participants coming from across Canada and even the United States. Nev Van Pelt has the story.
Over 120 dogs and their owners are at Chippewa Park this weekend to participate in the Northshore Dog Club show. This year's event features both national and international judges, with one traveling all the way from Japan. Northshore Dog Club sponsorship chair Yvonne Norton explained the process of these shows.
You start off at the breed level, so all, let's say for example, all Dalmatians will compete against Dalmatians. Then we pick the best Dalmatian. And then they go on to the group, where similar dogs of the group would compete against each other, like sporting dogs, hounds, working. And then after each group winner is picked, that's when you go into the best in show.
This year, the competition is tough, with many beautiful pups showing off, including Sarah Bazewski's Bull Terrier Frankie, who is known worldwide after being named the best of her breed at the prestigious Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show in New York back in May.
Everyone was just so happy for me, and Frankie, of course, and it was just wonderful to be in Westminster and to have everyone cheering us on. This weekend, this show is a great show. It's outdoors. We get lots of exhibitors, and it's just fun being with all of our local dogs.
With dogs and their owners coming from all over Canada and the U.S., local participants were happy to have the opportunity to compete at home.
It's really nice, you know, it's nice that we can have such a big turnaround in these shows. We have a really good community here, tight-knit. Everyone kind of knows each other, and even the out-of-town people are welcome.
Norton says everyone is welcome to come watch the shows and speak with the breeders to learn more about the dogs and event.
It's an interesting event to see how we show dogs, what they're judged on in conformation. It's to a standard that we all know of, and it's a family event too. You'll see there's lots of kids here. There's lots of people from all ages, from 5 to 75, 85 even.
The 4th annual Northshore Dog Club show is happening all weekend, with events running on both Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and the community is encouraged to come out and watch them show off. Nev Van Pelt, TBT News.
And I'm just admitting I'm full jealous that Nev got to cover that today. The last couple of years, Haley, I got to cover it. But last year, it really downpoured, and it was nice to see that there was some sun shining, because I do know that the rain did trickle in a little bit today.
Yes, it did come in briefly, but what really gets you is that cool air with the little drizzles as well. So although it wasn't a long shower, it did feel cool, and that's going to be a bit of a consistent trend. So today our high was 17, which was even 1 degree cooler than we were predicting it to be. So quite a cool day, and that was also added to the fact that we saw some pretty gusty northwest and west-northwest winds, gusting up to 38 kilometers an hour at times, and especially these last few hours, that's been a fairly consistent gustiness between 20 and 30 kilometers an hour. We started the morning partly cloudy, but then we got cloudier as the day went on. We had an afternoon shower around noon, and then around 4 o'clock we saw some more light showers happen again, and that's led us to where we are now. So yes, it's definitely feeling cool as we are getting that light rain. But areas in the region when we started the day didn't see as much of a consistent shower. We saw kind of sporadic patches with a shower storm a little bit more to the west, but luckily light, so more of a drizzly. Some areas saw mist. But as the day continued, it was almost as if this system regenerated once again, and now at this hour, we are seeing a larger system than we saw even earlier in the day. So we are kind of getting the brunt of it right now. So luckily, it's not heavy downpours, but it is consistent and widespread. So areas like Pickle Lake, they have been under the rainfall warning, and they're at 11, which has been around their high for the day, almost consistently 11 all day. So to get up to 17 is actually a nice thing. They've seen winds from the northeast, but elsewhere in the region, it's almost consistently from the northwest like it has been here in Thunder Bay today. Areas like Red Lake have been lucky most of the day. They've been mostly cloudy for most of the day. That's why they've been able to get up to 16, but they are seeing some light showers now. Like I mentioned, that map showed the system's more widespread now. So Kenora also most of the day was just mostly cloudy. They got to 17, but they're likely to see some showers now as well, similar to that of Fort Frances at 16. But other areas like Atikokan and Uppsala, Atikokan, 12 is actually their high right now. They've just bumped up a little bit, but Uppsala consistently 10 degrees all day today. Armstrong seeing showers as well. And even when there hasn't been moments of light showers, it's been very misty there. They're at 11. But areas like Nipigon and Marathon, a little less consistent rain. They have a high of 15 right now. Wawa has been mostly cloudy for most of the day. They're at 17. And Sault Ste. Marie being one of the warmer areas, 19. But they have started to see some showers as well. So looking into tonight for Thunder Bay, showers is the trend, and cloudy skies as well. Hot weather Haley tried to hold it off for as long as I could, but it's here. And honestly, with a low of 11, overnight showers, and winds from the northwest, it may not sound pretty, but as we've mentioned, Tropical Storm Debbie is moving through southern Ontario, and they're going to see systems even larger and stronger than we are. So I know that's coming up.
Yes, and you know what? We count ourselves lucky. I feel that we could use the rain, but I mean, turning to what we're going to be talking about after the break, Toronto, not so much. And it's going to be more that eastern part and southern part of Ontario that's going to be hit going into Quebec. So we're going to have more on the effects of that storm Debbie and what that's going to look like for us here in the north over the weekend.
Remnants of Debbie will continue to track towards the north and northeast. While no longer a tropical weather system, it is still packing a tremendous amount of moisture.